Up until October 12th of 1933, Alcatraz was officially designated as the Pacific Coast U.S. Disciplinary Barracks. On that day, the United States Department of Justice acquired the barracks, but not without backlash. The citizens of San Francisco were not overjoyed to have a federal penitentiary on Alcatraz Island. Throughout October 1933, the San Francisco Chronicle listed group after group who opposed the scheme. An editorial in the Chronicle argued that Alcatraz was too close to the city to be a summer resort for bad men. It recounted that over the years 17 military prisoners had successfully escaped by swimming or by stealing boats, and another 6 had gotten away by one ruse or another. However, the protests fell on deaf ears and the Justice Department continued its planning. In November of 1933, the Attorney General selected James A. Johnston of San Francisco to be the first warden of Alcatraz. Johnston, by reputation a tough disciplinarian, had already made a name for himself by carrying out reform of the state institutions at Folsom and San Quentin. He accepted the new assignment with enthusiasm and, as time would prove, with the determination to make the Rock a place of rigid discipline and cold impartiality. Johnston took office as warden on January 2, 1934. On April 5th, he moved into the commandant's quarters on the island, 3 months before the official establishment of the penitentiary. Director Sanford Bates of the Federal Bureau of Prisons prepared a memorandum for the Attorney General in December of 1933, listing the principles and general regulations under which the prison would be maintained. Alcatraz was to be operated on the principle of very limited privileges to inmates. The privilege of having visitors was to be earned. No visitors were allowed during a convict's first 3 months, and then only 1 visit per month. Regular meetings of a parole board were not to be scheduled, and no parole officer was to be appointed. No welfare work was to be undertaken. There would be no direct commitments from the courts to Alcatraz. Prisoners were to come only by transfer from other institutions. The usual institutional library would be provided, along with limited educational facilities. Mail privileges were to be limited. No original letters were to be delivered to prisoners, only a typed copy of the letters received. Newspapers, magazines, radios, and other forms of entertainment were all prohibited. Despite every possible effort by the Bureau of Prisons to give absolutely no information concerning individual prisoners to the press, the San Francisco Chronicle announced in January 1934 that among the first prisoners to come to Alcatraz would be Al Scarface Capone and George Machine Gun Kelly.